Working good. I was going to do this. Clean it up. Is that better? Okay. I'll flip around. Here in Jim Miller's garden, October 25th, 2025. And I'm going to walk around the garden today, and I got a few tomatoes to pick and look at other things. And these marigolds, they came up volunteer. They've been coming up volunteer for years, and they're really pretty right now. They'll last until frost, and lots of these are probably bumbles. Bumblebees are busy working on them. So I think these here are. The neighbor had some marigolds a few years ago, and they grew in my garden. And I think these are a mix, hybrid of mine and look at all those bumblebees. You only got another month, guys. And they pollinate, cross-pollinated, and this is a larger version of what mine are. And I'm pretty sure they crossed. And I mean, there's some of these this plant here is taken up. See, it's up there in the tomato cage too. And it's one plant is, you can see kind of where it starts. It's taken up this whole area. And I think this is a different plant, but this whole area is just covered with marigolds, and we need some viewers. They'll come in. But so I'm going to get my black bucket that doesn't hold water, and I'm going to go look for tomatoes to pick. Let's see. I'll look at these potted ones first. Yeah, that one's ready. We're getting down to the very last few. There's a bigger one that's still green. And my pineapple is getting ripe. It's not very big, but and let's look at it a little bit. It's still green right up in here, so I'll let it go a while. I might have to take these pineapples inside because the upcoming weather is getting a little more chilly and wet. And one year I had a pineapple out and it was wet and chilly and it died. So I'm gonna have to. They look good right now. And this pineapple here is the daddy to that one, and this is a pup from another plant that came up. And then when I cut the top off of this, I'll stick in a planter and hopefully it roots, and then we'll start all over again with another pineapple. Okay. Got a thumbs up. So like and subscribe. All right. There's nothing here. It's just these tomatoes are. I see this one here is putting some little ones on it, and I pretty much almost gave up on it. Now there were some, I think like 2 big tomatoes on it before, and I harvested them, and now it's got a few more, and the time is running out, but we might get something there. Okay, I'll go down this way. 6 viewers. Got 3 thumbs up already. All right, let's set a record. I can't remember what the record is, like 6 maybe. Yeah, this here. Don't go away. That's a caterpillar moth, and I think I'm I probably should have sprayed like yesterday. It's supposed to get rainy here like Monday and then some Wednesday. So, and this is a bok choy, and it's growing properly. It's not going to seed. It's getting huge. And here's another one, a bok choy. Here's some, now the Napa cabbage did the wrong thing, and they're blooming. This one at least. I see this, a little tomato that fell off of there ain't much left there. And I'll pick, ew, that's just rotten. Pick these here. I think I might make a stew this afternoon, and I'll get the riper tomatoes that I picked this morning. This one's got like, maybe that was 2 bok choy. There's a second bok choy there. I'll have to look at that later. Okay, here's a nice tomato. This is a beefsteak. Just starting to get ripe. These are still green. I don't see any worm damage. And here's a little one on this beefsteak row. Here's that. Oh, I stepped on a marking pipe. There's one there. Okay, I'll stumble around. Got 5 viewers. 5 thumbs up. That's awesome. And subscribe too. Oh God, I got a bunch of chats. Chat said, Chris Chiarelli said hi. Melanie Tucker said hi. Summer Rain Wright, that's a great name, said hi. Columbus, Ohio. Okay, pineapple has a disease. It's got a disease. Well, I'm going to eat that disease. It's gotten cold when it's rotten, and that's why it looks shriveled up. Well, okay. But I beg to differ. Nancy says hi. Well, everybody's hi. I'm going to just on my garden meandering around. I gotta pick that one. It's got a wormhole in it. It's starting to rot. I'll clean it up and put it in the stew. That one I looked at. We're done there. And here's a volunteer potato. Might get a little potato out of it before frost. And there's a little tomato up in there. So, okay. Slim pickings. Well, it's late in the year, and that's okay. I don't see really, there's some newer tomatoes that are green. How come that's not? Where are you? Well, they're there. Okay. There they are. Okay. 5 viewers. Great. Pretty flowers. Pretty fall flowers. Yes, these are marigolds. And I'll go over here and look at this. I think this is one plant. Yeah, that's one. This big area here is just one plant. It's a hybrid of a typical marigold and a giant marigold. The neighbors They grew the giant ones. They have a big flower, but I don't see any big flower ones in my garden this year. But the plants are huge, so I think they're a cross. So thanks for commenting. Popping bubble wrap. Okay, what happened there? Someone added a sticker. Well, I don't know. I'm not well advanced in YouTubing, so there's these things called stickers I know nothing about. So maybe I'll look at that later. Look at these. These are really pretty. And there's something on the. I took a picture of a marigold up there on the patio, and you push the identification on the photo, and they said it was a French marigold. So maybe I'll have to investigate that. So very pretty. And we were in Indonesia, and what is that again? Gosh, Bali. And that was kind of a little bit of their culture, is growing marigolds, and they display them, and you see them along the road when you're going down the road, riding the bus. And here's a single plant, another single plant. It's all sprawled out, and it was, I remember during July, it was a little plant, and it was just, it'd be in the hot sun, it'd be wilting, and it survived, and it's been raining some, and it grew to this big plant. So that's pretty cool. I didn't want to bother with it, and it survived. And here's another one. Let's see, there's a tomatoes. This plant here doesn't have any ripe ones. And there's a plant here I'm using the marigold as a support. Okay, there's one that's turning here, so I got one. Oh, Nancy says one plant. Wow, yeah. Yeah, she said one plant. Wow, oh my God, it's so pretty. Marigold flowers are one of my favorite flowers, and very beautiful, very deep and rich in color. Yeah, they do vary. They do have these dark reds with orangish yellow on these. These are the kind of the ones I grew up. My grandmother grew them, and these are kind of typical of them. This one might not be a hybrid. It's big. Well, it's probably big because my garden is starting to get very fertile. So I got that tomato, and just kind of looking at the marigolds, kind of in a wide view. And here are some, I planted some cabbage. What I'm going to need to do here. And I put these mesh around it to keep the groundhog, deter him a little bit. And I caught the groundhog, and he's sleeping right there where that dirt is disturbed. The groundhog is sleeping. He'll make good corn next year, I think. So I'll get these cages off. And they look pretty good. We'll see what kind of winter we got. I'm probably going to put a lot of leaves down here along them, so when it gets real cold, I'll put tarps on them, and leaves, and rotten, old clothes, and try to protect them, because I did it last year, and I got cabbages during the winter. We had one New Year's Day, so yeah, there's some more of those white butterflies. They lay eggs on the cabbage plants. Cabbage are, I think they're called brachius plants of all sorts, and they they eat the leaves real quick. They just ruin a plant. They ruin a cabbage plant in no time if you don't spray them. And here is more cabbage. And this one here, the groundhog ate the top off and it came back. And the other day I cut a couple of the shoots off, and there's 2 shoots left, so it may or may not make a cabbage. It probably will. And right here, this is a bok choy that one of my early ones I planted midsummer, and it's all seeded out, so I'll keep the seed. And this here Napa cat, that doesn't, these Napas aren't looking correct. Maybe as the winter, as I got Napas that are different sizes, so hopefully I get one that decides to present itself as a make a head. And but so far I'm kind of skeptical that we're going to get any Napas that I use the leaves anyway in hot pot, and it's very good. It's good especially with pork. You dip them in the solution and it boils for like a minute and a half, and then you bring it out. I mix it with pork, hot sauce, and pork hot sauce, salt, pepper, and stuff, and it's really good. It's just something about it. Okay, this one's probably, yeah, that one's ready to pick. I sprayed the tomatoes like last week, and I don't see any new worm damage. And we're probably getting towards the end of the worm season. That one don't. I'm gonna go to the lower garden. It got 8 viewers. That's great. All this stuff here is supposed to have been a groundhog barrier, and I'm gonna have to get that all straightened up. Okay. Do you have any pumpkins? My pumpkins are in the house. I'll show you. Who's this again? Nancy? Nancy's inquiring about the pumpkins. It's a quick trip in the house. Boy. Okay, we're just still. I hope I don't lose connection. I'm on the cellular. See, here's my pumpkins and butternut squash, and is there some there? I thought there were, yeah, the acorns are. Yeah, I grow this stuff, and no one seems to be interested in eating it. But I'm going to take these butternuts, and I'm going to make pumpkin pie out of them. These pumpkins, the pumpkins themselves, these are kind of more of a. You can make pumpkin pie out of them, but they're not terribly pumpkin-y. So here, Nancy, here's the pumpkins. And I listen, I think this was, most of these bigger ones, they were like June, was it end of June? July, August. No, I think it was the end of July. Yes. And Nancy says, thank you. Well, thank you for asking. And this week, my wife wants her shower cleaned. You know, there's soap and powder all over the walls. And I told her, I got to get these jack-o'-lanterns going. So jack-o'-lantern's a priority. I told her, well, maybe next month. So, and here's my tomato table. And I think most of these are, I'm going to go eat after this video, and then if I have enough energy, I'll make a stew. So I got my scheduling messed up, and I got to get that stew done today. Got football tomorrow. Got a dentist appointment Monday. No, actually Tuesday. So I'm going to get on it. All right, go to the backyard. I didn't lose everybody. This is, well, look at something up here. Here's a marigold that kind of died back. And I don't know really why. I think it was just lack of water, but this runs off the concrete. It's still got a few flowers. Now here is a sage, and hopefully it stays alive all winter. And I'll probably kind of cover it a little when it gets really cold. And I use that in my I use that in chili even. And I'm gonna make a stew. And come to think of it, I'm gonna pick a few leaves so I don't have to come back down here and pick them. I'll put these in the food processor with other herbs. And grind them up. There's 6. I'll make it 7. What is this? Oh, it looked like there was a bug there. It was not. Okay, I'm gonna go look around. Go through these skeletons of nightshades, and they're all done. And a cabbage, a Napa that's bloomed out and it's seeded. And here's another Napa. I hope some of these Napas go proper and create a head. I'll try next spring. Okay, there's a couple marigolds. These beans they're kind of blooming again. And I ate the last of them last week. Well, if it doesn't freeze, there's some beans down here. And I should pick those. I just keep forgetting. I'm keeping some seed from these vines. And all these vines is just 2 plants. I started with like 11 and now there's 2. And here's my corn. My 7th corn is pretty much a disaster. I think it's lack of sun and disease. And I checked, there's an ear there. I think there's 3 ears on this row of, there's an ear. I checked them, I think maybe even yesterday. And there's a little bit of corn, just a little. And down here is, well, that's a little bit of bok choy. Not much sun down here. Well, when these leaves drop, it'll get more sun, but I don't know what kind of weather we're gonna have. Here's some more cabbage. And here's some volunteer lettuce. I might get enough for a salad. And it can grow in some real bitter cold, not bitter cold, but pretty chilly weather. Freezing, lettuce will grow through that really, really good. And, you know, another Napa. I hope these Napas will try to put a head. If they don't, I might have to get different seed. It might not have been the right seed, but on the pack it had a big old head on. Well, that's Napa. Next spring, I don't know, I'm gonna plant them directly or start seeds in the house. I may try a few seeds in the house and get them out. You know, it could be early February when I can plant stuff like that. If the weather's, here's some more tomatoes. These are cherry tomatoes, and these came in, I think the birds brought them in. Oh, I forgot to look over there. I'll look again. Is this ripening? I think it's, no. Well, this one I'll pick. They're winding down. Got 3 viewers. Never heard of Napa. Well, yeah, Napa is a cabbage. It's an Asian cabbage. It's long and tall, and I'm gonna try very hard to get one to produce, because I don't give up easily. Well, I'll pick these worm-eaten on tomatoes, and this one it had a bug on it. I don't think it was that one. Needs to be picked. So tomato season's ending pretty early this year in Tennessee. I'm from South Dakota. The season's over, very likely over there. It's been froze. Well, I don't see much. Those are just green. All right. We still got 3 viewers. Well, this this big vine patch is purple sweet potatoes, and I need to dig them. But I got lots of other things to do, and it's supposed to start getting rainy, so I don't want to be out in the mud. And I'm gonna look at these peppers. That one's okay. I wait until they get orange. They turn. What the hell? That's a bug. Bug was, I don't know, it was eating it or what. I don't see any changing. This one I just as well pick. It's got a little orange to it, so. And here, yeah, these peppers weren't not that impressive. They were supposed to be bell peppers, and they're just they're a sweet pepper, but they're this green one. They're blooming a little yet. You don't have long. I'll probably pick this one. Oops, well, I got 2. Okay, that's a pepper there. Well, those are green, and it's starting to grow some more shoots here, and I think it's, ooh, this one's, oh, that's why it's shriveled. It's usable, but the branch there died. Ain't much on this. There's a few there. I'm looking at this yellow tomato. I think I picked them all off. The worms were eating them. Yeah, the plant's totally dead. No, there's some a little bit. There's life on this one, but there's no tomatoes. So, and it was a volunteer, and it did real good. But it's done. 6 thumbs up. That's awesome. Okay. I planted last March. I planted 6. Well, 1 viewer. Yeah, they come in and out. Okay. I planted 6 purple sweet potatoes, and 4 of them were plants, and 2 of them were the tubers. because Nana didn't. I dug them when they were too ripe, and they were kind of hard for her to eat. And I harvested them in I think it was July, and I let the vines. And now I'm gonna dig through these vines when I get a chance and see if there's any more purple sweet potatoes. And as much vines go 30 feet wide, 40 feet long, and climbing the fence and going in the yard. They're all over. And hopefully and I think I'll take some clippings again. I took clippings last fall and I put them in dirt and just kept them watered, and they lived through the winter, and I put them out and they started growing, and here we are. I'll do that again. And what is that? Oh, that's bok choy. Bok choy going to seed. And here's another cabbage that the groundhog ate the top out of, and it's starting to sprout out. What is that? Yeah, that's Napa that's going to seed. I'm gonna have to keep I'll clip off the seed when it gets a little riper, and then I'll let it dry in the house, and then I shell it out and keep the seed. And I hope this Napa works eventually, because I'm gonna have a lot of seed. And here's some more cabbage. And that one on the top part, the groundhog ate the top off, but it didn't eat the growing, I don't know what they call it, or the growing ends. And those are good. Oh, that one's not getting. That's a Napa that I harvested, and it sprouted back up, so we'll see. It's not getting a lot of sun because it's shaded by the Napa. And here is my trap. And I was getting kind of, ooh, there's a squash to pick off the ground on the other side. Let's see. I was getting very discouraged that this groundhog was not getting trapped, and I finally got him. And I don't want any groundhogs showing up next spring, because they'll wreck a garden real fast if you can't trap them. So last year I caught 4 groundhogs, and I think the sweet potatoes are enjoying that. That's where they live. That's where they were, put to sleep. And that's probably why that sweet potatoes are growing big. So I'm walking back up and around. And that must be no, this is a morning glory. Okay, I think it's the end of the season, but there's stuff to look at. And here's my water. I'm gonna have to dump that out if I don't use it. I don't use much water anymore. It's cool, and the potted plants are pretty much done. And I know it's gonna rain again, so they look like banana peppers. Well, that might be what they are. It ain't the first time we had mislabeled nursery plants. Let's go down here. Oh, I forgot to. Let me go back. I got to look at this tomato that's through the fence. I want to get this done. That's all I got. Okay. There's a tomato that's climbing through the fence here. I think it's a volunteer grape tomato, and I moved plants down, like 6 plants. There isn't hardly anything here worth messing with. I'll pick what's a little bit there. Here's a little bean. There's some beans are blooming. There's so few beans now that these beans will probably go in I'll just incorporate them in chili or stew. Okay, everybody's probably eating lunch. That's why the viewership is, and I'm doing a very poor job of being organized. Hello, B. I got my new phone ordered. I'm getting a new iPhone. And it's got a 40 zoom. It's got a 40, I got a 40 zoom coming. It's instead of a 5. So if you're in the cheap seats at a Stevie Nicks concert, you can zoom in and check and see if her hair's done correctly. Okay, there's a plant. This one's done. Oh, let me get this. A late squash. There's a green tomato. That's it. There's some blooming going on. Good luck. But I'm doing a garden tour and incorporating a little picking. And I got to go on the other side of the fence. Oh, here we go. This is the neighbor's. She's got a tomato growing out of her. She said it's a compost box. This plant just looked like it's not dead, but these tomatoes kind of shrivel. I think it's just lack of sunlight, and they're not really growing correctly. But they're getting a little ripe. Get a few there. All right. No more chats. I got one viewer that's hanging there, and they get the tour of Sweetwater Creek. Sweetwater, Tennessee Creek. It's getting so low that you might be able to see the fish. Oh, the reflection's really bad on the phone. Hey, oh, that's one of the pond, or they have a park down here they call the Duck Pond Park. It's just in the creek. And they got feeders down there. The people feed the ducks. And this is it looks like a typical duck from down there. Across the bridge, and you can't see the bridge. You see those cars going at Highway 11 in Sweetwater, Tennessee. What's up, duck? You're lost. The food's that way. No viewers. And the duck is unhappy that there's no viewers. Hey, I'm gonna look. do a little bit of exploratory. And this is the neighbor's yard. And if I didn't do anything in this yard, this would be a jungle. I don't want a jungle next to our property. Yes, there's no more new digging from a groundhog. So that's a good sign. I got some other holes along the creek to look at and see if there's been activity. I got a viewer. Yeah, Jim Miller's garden. Picking tomatoes. This one's got all kinds of wormholes in it. But the stew don't care. Here's a little grape tomato. These are tiny. These plants are dying and well, that's been hollowed out. Yeah, I'll make that stew because I'm not getting any. All of a sudden, I know the tomatoes were on the downside, and I kept getting bucketfuls of tomatoes, and now we're barely getting the bottom fields. And this is volunteer tomato, started here. That one's rotten, and it started next to, I had corn here, long gone, and there's some more. Ugh. It started here and the groundhog ate it down a couple times, but it kept going. These are nice and red looking. Those will go right into the stew today. I'm just gonna be like, I'm making my stew today. And I'm gonna try some. I'm gonna use some old canned chicken and I think I'm gonna put chicken bouillon in it, and use the tomatoes that are in the house and some of these, and onions and peppers and potatoes, and make a stew this afternoon and watch college football a little bit. Yeah, the Tennessee team, Tennessee Vols are not doing well. Their quarterback up and left, and they got this other quarterback he's a good player. It's just that he's not a big time Southeast Conference quarterback, at least what I saw against Alabama. They should have beat Georgia home, and the kicker was freaked out, missed a chip shot. All right, let's see. Maybe I see one down there. That's probably one of my rejects. Throw it in there. They'll come up next year. Okay. And here's the giant Marconi peppers. I'm going to pick this red one. They're starting to grow again a little bit, but they don't have much time. They did real good this year. I froze 4 quart bags about a month ago of these. Okay, this plant's loaded. Oh boy. Should I pick or not to pick? There are no viewers. No chats. I'll leave you another. Jeez, that's just so borderline. Did something break? That was a twig. Oh man, that looks so pretty. Just load it up real nice. These are all just borderline. They'll be fine. It's gonna be halfway towards being in a refrigerator anyway. They just will ripen naturally. I got peppers in the house to use. Here's some another volunteer grape tomato. They're ugly, but they're free. Clean them up and put them in the processor. Yeah, we're about that tomato season. It is probably about done. I'll pick the whole handful of green ones, but the plant's dead. Doesn't matter. Okay, here's well, this one that's so borderline. And there's no imperfections. Just let it go. There's one growing down there at the base. One there. This one here. Some buds. If you were in South Florida, I'd say you make peppers. Okay. Oh, that was this a patio umbrella that broke down, and I used the, what do you call it, the webbing for keeping plants up. Well, I think I'm doing this one. It's red. All red. Come on. Yeah. I picked it without it. Oh, there's a good number of smalls. This plant here was shaded by this big tree trunk a lot in the morning, and it was a little bit slower, so it's still putting on like its second or third flourish of peppers. I don't see any more in that. Okay. No viewers. I scared the world off. Well, I'm gonna go up on our front deck and look at the flowers and stuff and the herbs. I picked up a viewer. Like and subscribe. Jim Miller's Garden. And here's work for me to do. I'm going to clean in between our house and the neighbor's house. I'll take a lawnmower with a bagger and bag the leaves for mulch. Okay. The dogs are barking. And here's our front of our car pad with flowers to make it look nice. Marigold, and this is here. It was really had a lot of flowers on it earlier. They call it its nickname is Thousand Bells. It had, I think I counted towards 40 flowers on it one time. And I rescued that from the neighbor's yard in the lawn. I saw a little plant with flowers, looked like petunias, and I dug it up and I potted it, and here it is. And it's supposed to be perennial, so hope it's around next year. An avocado plant, some marigolds that are planted. I had marigolds planted along into the ground, not the pots, and the kind of bit disappointing. This one looks pretty good. And I don't even know what that plant is. And here's, what do they call that? Shamrock. Looks like it's going back to a dormant phase. And more of these. I got to take most of this in the house. Mexican petunia. Got some flowers. They're kind of tiny. Probably because the weather's getting tiny too. All right. And here's some more flowers. No one's saying what flowers I'm looking at, because there's no one watching. Okay, and the volunteer tomato in this potted. This is like a non-flowering plant. Here's a marigold that just hijacked this pot and then left it grow. Looks good. These look good. It had a rough summer. It would dry out a lot and get wilted, and I kept watering it, and it's flourishing. Okay. And here's this succulent plant by the mailbox, and it's got a Virginia creeper growing on. Virginia creeper hijacked the pot, and I got it because of this succulent. I have to take it inside for the winter, and the Virginia creeper comes inside too. And Virginia creepers are winter tolerant, but it's going to have to come in the house. I have to just unwind it and take it down. Been about 3 years with that Virginia creeper. And here's a marigold that hijacked it's very pretty. Where's some more bees? Hijacked the rosemary box. And here's a little bitty marigold. That marigold had all kind. It would almost like die, and by the time I got to water, and it would revive, and now it's looking good. Oregano, and what's left of the basil, with a nice, very beautiful marigold coming out of it. So I let volunteers growing anything if they're not going to be a problem. And parsley, and this came up in the box this year from last year. There was parsley here that was seeding. It's a biennial, and it's seeded in here, and it's growing again, and it's done that several times in a row. And here's a tomato that hijacked the parsley box, and it had a couple real nice big yellow tomatoes on it earlier this year. Thyme, and that regrew from seed in the box too. The plants died, and for whatever reason, and I was patient, and they came back as seed. And here is the chives, and they've been real productive this year. Got 7 thumbs up. I think that's a record. All right. And the last thing is these fading out marigolds that are growing in the kids' sandbox. Or this was like a sand table. It's originally for that. And that's about it. Oh, I'm gonna take a picture. What they're up to. Oh, I think they're going fishing. Okay, I'm gonna take a photo of this and be back. Yes, we're back. 7 thumbs up. That's awesome. I'm going to flip around and see my ugly mug. Jim Miller's Garden signing off. And nice cool morning in October. And garden is finishing up. Oh, God, there's some other... there's 3 Patty games at high. And... yeah. And that's probably Filipino, if I'm not incorrect. And there's a lot of there'll be, my new phone might translate that in real time, who knows. And this one flower, and this one is, and this, we're trying this one flower. Yeah, I don't know. I'll flip around. Was it this flower? Yeah, like I said earlier, they in Indonesia, maybe in Indian culture, the marigolds are prominent. And if I could, and plus that plant over there is called a hot shot or Indian flower of some sort, and that's in their culture too, because I've seen a lot of them. And there's one place with a lake up in the volcanic mountains that's very pretty, that uses a lot of marigolds and the Indians hot shot flowers or whatever they are. And that's beautiful. It was a beautiful place. It was in the tropics, but it was very mild for, they really don't have a seasons in that part of the world. They have wet and dry seasons, but they don't have that sounds like a pickup, an old car. So one viewer. Well, I'm going to quit this and go eat. And not even an hour. It's amazing. Yes, Jim Miller's Garden. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the thumbs ups and everything. So, I'll flip around. That's one of those choppers. We're next to I-40 where there's accidents. And that could be someone going to maybe Chattanooga to the hospital. Too bad. That's very likely what that is. Someone had a wreck and is hopefully prayers for them. Well, thanks for watching Jim Miller's Garden and trying to get out of this. And everything's happening all at once. All right. Thank you very much for watching. I might do one maybe when I'm digging sweet potatoes. I don't know. All right.